Teachable is the most gives us the most value for the price we pay out of any subscription we have, because not only do they take care of the curriculum and uploading your lessons and resource files, and it also takes care of payment and coupon systems and affiliateships, and so all these things that you need to actually start a course, it's all in just one subscription, right? Versus all the other things we do, which are expensive subscriptions for something that does like one task or two tasks. Teachable takes care of 70% of, I want to say, of the stuff that we need to get done with a single subscription. So it's very, very handy. It's been a must. It's a must-have subscription for sure.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited to talk to Brian Kouhi today about his school, his platform, his business, and a bit of his story. Brian, if you would open, we would love to know a little about you. We would love to know what your school is called, your business is called, and also how it is, your short story of how you ended up working for yourself.
Yeah, sure. So Brian, as you mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Two Animates Academy. We're an academy where we teach 3D animation and soon other animation related courses as well. The company is co-founded by me and two other co-founders, and we're all animators that met working on the production Maya and the Three. We were all working on it. We really loved the. It was our first for both of us, for two of us, two out of the three. It was our first time working with Blender, and which is a free software, and we were used to using Maya, which is a paid software, and we were just pleasantly surprised by how comfortable it was animating in Blender, and how like we had this idea that Blender was not capable, but we were working on this huge production using Blender, and we were actually liking it over time more than we were liking Maya, which was a paid software. So at the time, there wasn't a lot of educational content on Blender and specifically on animation. So we just decided to kind of come together and put our knowledge of school and our experience in the industry and just combine it all into like a laser focused curriculum for other aspiring animators. That's essentially how Two Animate came to be and how I got involved in it. So we were working at Tangent Studio, which unfortunately they've gone down since, so it doesn't exist anymore. But I believe there were over 400 artists at the time working at the company, so it was a fairly big company. It was, I think, to date actually the biggest Blender production ever done, and yeah, we managed to be top 10 on Netflix for a couple of weeks, which was nice with the show. But yeah, we all met. Actually, one of the partners is now my wife, so yeah, we just kind of we're business partners and life partners now. And yeah, we just became friends with our third partner. He was the guy we would always go to with questions because he had like 15. He's our age, but he's had 15 years of experience with Blender. Um, and so we just kept going with him to him with questions. And once we kind of came up with the idea, we're like, hey, would you like to be involved in with this and help us? Because like you know all these things that we don't know. We just know the animation stuff. You have like general knowledge. So it ended up really working out where all three of us have complementary skills, and so the other two can do things that I can't do. I can do things the other two can't do, and so it creates this really nice synergy where it just fills up all these different needs that the business has. All three of us just fill those up pretty perfectly, so it worked out really, really well.
I love that. And you kind of hinted at answers for this, but I'm always curious about that moment of committing to do this, to starting your own business. Was it the kind of thing where one of you was like, I'm doing this whether or not you all join me, or was it the synergy came first and then you all decided to do it?
I think what started it originally was it actually started from going back to university. I went for a bachelor's degree that was supposed to teach me animation. That's how they advertised it to me. And 4 years in, $40,000, in debt. Um, I ended up knowing absolutely anything. I didn't know anything by the end of the program. I There was no way I could get a job as an animator. Hadn't taught me anything. I got into heated conversations, let's say, with the professors that actually sold me the program beforehand. And this is like a very well known university in Canada, in Toronto. So it was just they basically sold me lies, and I spent 4 years wasting my time essentially. Um, but I always wanted to go to Sheridan, which is considered the number one, and it's back and forth with Seneca as number one and number two for the top animation school in Canada. I always wanted to go there, and so I was like, you know what? Let me do 1 year postgraduate after I got my bachelor's. Try Sheridan out, and it was one very intense year of 60, 70 hour weeks and like sleeping under our desks. But after that 1 year, I actually had the abilities to get a job as an animator. And within a week, actually, of graduating, I started working on Paw Patrol. So it ended up really working out. But I remember throughout my studies at Sheridan, I was like, I wish I knew this when I first started getting into animation. I wanted to learn about it. I wish I knew this. I wish I knew that. But that kind of led into me starting a YouTube channel as I started working in the industry. So I started off as obviously a junior animator, and I was giving my perspective. I was sharing information about the industry because it was hard to get information on animators. They were like wizards. They're like, whoa, you're an animator. Like, what do you do? What does life look like? So it just led to my channel being made and me sharing tutorials and all the stuff that I wish I knew back in Sheridan, and when I first started, just sharing that to the public, just because I wanted to get that information out there, and that's sort of how it started. And then it led to me wanting to create some sort of. I wasn't thinking like academy. I was just thinking like maybe a course. Uh, but as we started working in Blender on Maya on the 3, it's it's confusing because the name of the project is Maya and the 3, but we were using Blender instead of Maya. So yeah, so as we started working on that production, I was like, you know what? There's enough Maya information out there. Let's focus on Blender and what Blender can do, because that was a surprise to all of us, and there was no quality education on that. And that's the long answer to how it all started and like led to two animates.
How do you communicate the transformation that you're offering to your students?
The transformation that we're offering to our students. I We try to kind of approach the academy or course as a mix between just a regular course and the very expensive animation schools that you can enroll in. So we're somewhere in the middle. We've took like the good bits of an animation school and the good bits of a course, and we've put it together. A course is you work at your own pace, right? You get a course and you're responsible. But what a course lacks is a an active community, an instructor to kind of help you if you get stuck, and so you're very much on your own. But with an animation school, you pay a lot of money for live sessions, but those live sessions are instructors helping you and like helping you not get stuck and guiding you. So for us, again, we're somewhere in the middle where we have a course where you can work at your own pace, but we also have a community aspect that our motto is no question goes unanswered. So join the community where no question goes unanswered. So any question you have about the course, about something you're stuck on, animation related, you post in the community, either an instructor, and now we have over 1,000 students in the community. So students start pitching in and answering questions. So again, no question goes unanswered, and that's a huge help for students that are learning on their own. So you get a community aspect that you wouldn't get from a regular course, and there's other benefits as well that we do give in the community, where it's we have partnerships, so students get discounts on certain add-ons or services that are animation related that'll help them. Uh, and we just try to approach it as what would be the best way to teach, essentially, because most courses also um, they focus on having the student copy the instructor. And what we're trying to do is based off our experiences in school and in the industry is if you need to know fundamentally what you're doing and not just copying. So we try to give a very strong animation foundation and let the students use their creativity throughout the lessons to make their own versions of the lesson once they learn all the principles and have a foundation. Um, so that's how we're kind of positioned in this space, and we try to sell it um, as you get a laser focused education and you'll have all your questions answered, which is most people's fear.
And I think this is common with creators to take an experience you had in an education and improve it, or even if you're mimicking that experience, make it accessible to a different person. Um, so now that how many years ago did you say you started the business?
Uh, let's see. We had our official launch actually last year, but the year before that, we had our Kickstarter. I believe the January of the year before that, uh, and after the Kickstarter, we were just working on the course. It was ended up being very successful, which the whole point of it was to see how the idea would kind of be received. And we ended up raising. Uh, I believe we reached 1,400% funded on Kickstarter, which was amazing. We got 100% funded in 2 minutes of launching. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and so we were really excited. We're like, oh my god, this is actually an idea that that has a lot of obviously a lot of need because people are pre-purchasing a course that doesn't exist yet, and we didn't lie about it. We said that this is the idea, this is what we have, and this is what we want to do. And to this day, we're still making those lessons, and it's actually now I want to say 50% larger than what we promised on Kickstarter because we just keep adding lessons and assets as we see it necessary. So yeah, the course is definitely a lot larger than what we anticipated, and it's been I want to say a total it's been 3 years in the making, but we fully launched last year.
That's cool. So, and you're already working full time just for this. That's
Yes,
so cool.
yes,
Okay,
yeah,
so then the question is more just like in your own life, how has selling educational products or like focusing on this impacted your life, whether that's your mental health, your daily
yeah,
routine, like those, what's your life look like and how
yeah.
does
Well,
that feel?
I'll say this: we just came back from a month-long workation from Aruba. Like
Nice, nice.
we're in Aruba, and we were working. But the good thing about this is that we can actually just take our laptop. We pre-recorded some videos, so we can edit it over there, and we just take our work with us. We're our own bosses, which is amazing, which is what I've always wanted. And that's it. We can just work from anywhere. So it really gives us the freedom of being able to allocate our time however we like. So we can go to whatever event we would like to go and then work beforehand, work afterwards. Just we can put work wherever it needs to go so that we can enjoy life to the fullest. So that's the biggest benefit I'd say of actually being your own boss in any way. You kind of go at it.
What do you think has been the biggest contributor to your success in starting this business or as a creator in the growing your channel? What led up to this?
Hmm. That's a hard question
Yeah.
because I actually don't know. I don't. I think. I really think is entrepreneurship is what really leads you to kind of get into get the idea of working for yourself and like really starting your own thing. It really is like the entrepreneurship bug. Um, some people do just find themselves in that situation. But at least for me specifically, I knew I wanted to start a business. I just didn't know what. Um, and I got interested in animation, and I started being an animator. I was like, how could I possibly make a business being an animator? That was always in the back of my mind. And for me, for the longest time, it was starting a studio. But as I kind of looked into it, I realized it doesn't make as much sense because starting a studio is extremely uh, volatile and risky, actually, animation industry. It's you're fully reliant on a single client or maybe two clients, and if and which is what happened to Tangent Animation, which the studio I was working at, we were using Blender. They were reliant on one client for two projects, which was Netflix. So 400 people were relying on Netflix and these two projects, and one project got pulled, and so they were thinking, oh no, we have to let 100 to 200 people go. This is horrible. Within the same week, Netflix rug pulled the second project from them, and they went from one of the fastest growing, I want to say, studios in Toronto, having probably the best quality animation in Toronto, to not existing within a week. This is a huge 400-person studio gone in a week because of a single client. So it didn't really make sense to kind of pursue that. At least not at this time. I do still want to start a studio at some point, but maybe start smaller with ads and such things. But it I always had the entrepreneurial bug to start my own business, and it just made sense. It all kind of came together, and I was like, "That's it. That's what I have to do." And it just kind of pushed me to learn about business and learn, because when you start your own business, you have to do 100 or 1,000 different tasks, not just animation. So it's just been a huge learning journey for the last 3 or 4 years.
So I'm curious. You talk especially well about about Teachable's platform. It is a tricky thing for us to sometimes communicate the specific features that are catered to certain things, since most most educators, most creators just experience it as this one
Mm-hmm.
thing. And one thing we struggle to communicate is our like the features that specifically help you sell more or help you hack those income things like abandoned
Mm-hmm.
cart, those kind of things. Um, if you were to choose a a selling oriented or a financially focused feature of Teachable that is your favorite, I'm curious what it is. And how would you, as a creator who uses the platform to successfully sell, communicate what Teachable offers in actually being able to sell the education, not just create a course?
In being able to actually sell the education,
Like
how do
in
you mean?
like not just making a course and then using a different payment processor or that kind of thing, but
I see what you
yeah, what does that enable when you can do all of that with one platform?
mean. Yeah. So I think my favorite feature is would probably have to be the affiliate system.
Mm.
I think we get around 30% of our sales just purely through affiliates. So that comes in really handy, uh, especially where I recently discovered, I can't believe I didn't know this, because we have a different landing page than Teachable. So we have people landing there, and it's been very hard to track sales coming from a different page or from somewhere to our landing page, which is on Wix currently, and then leading to Teachable, and then we can't tell who's purchasing. We can see views, but we can't see who's purchasing. So I just found out that you can actually, especially for affiliates, instead of sending them to your Teachable landing page, you can make a custom link for, let's say, the Wix page, and it'll track the purchase even though the affiliates are sending them to your Wix page. So this is really handy because we're also thinking of opening a market. Not thinking, we're in the process of opening up an asset marketplace, a digital asset marketplace. It'll be on Wix, but all the checkouts will be as digital products, digital downloads on Teachable. So the affiliates will be able to send someone to our homepage, and they can either buy a course, they can either buy a product. Either way, they'll get their share of the sale. So it doesn't matter what we sell, they'll get the share of it because it's all through Teachable. So that I really really I'm happy I found that feature. I was actually talking with another creator who's way ahead of us. I want to say I see him as almost a mentor. So I just wanted to have a call with him, kind of pick his brain, and yeah, he didn't even know about this feature. But at the end of the call, I just dropped it. I was like, oh, we started doing this, and he's like, wait a minute, you started doing what? You can do this with Teachable? I was like, yes. So, it's come in really handy recently.
Thank you for all of the creators who will learn from you that this feature is available.
It's great.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard that from a few creators, which always to me is such a testament to the education you're putting out. If affiliates is one of the primary ways you get sales, that means what you're selling is good. And we're happy that enables you. We also, it's cool to hear how creators, because that's part of why we allow you to copy the checkout link. We don't expect you to build your whole website on Teachable. Creators have many needs. You may have it. So it's cool that's working for you. Is there a specific marketing strategy or a couple strategies together that you found to be kind of like your bread and butter, what you're going to use to scale and grow?
We're still figuring that out.
Yep.
We're still figuring that out. We're that's the thing. We finally have gotten to the point where we have the lessons for the course. Like it's launched, and like we're happy with it. Everything else we're adding is additional, but up until that point, we've been very much in like course creation mode. Just like uh, digging down and like working on the next lesson, write this, do that. We haven't been focused on marketing at all until more recently, last couple of months. So we've really been trying to figure that out, and we don't have a marketer on board. I'm basically like the marketer at this point. So it's just been a lot of like learning, which I had interest in marketing and advertising and all that in the past. So I have some very basic knowledge, but I want to say from what we've seen so far, especially with our price point being so high, it's our animation course, ultimate animation course is 495. So it is a higher ticket item. And it's very hard to cold sell a higher ticket item to someone who's never heard of you. So what we've recently started testing out is creating an email sequence where when someone joins our email list, they'll get a sequence of, let's say, 8 emails throughout several weeks, where we try and give them tips and help them in one way or another, give them some free lectures from the course, and essentially just warm them up to us and nurture them, and end it with a sale email, and a soft sell, and then at the end a hard sell, and just get them familiarized with us so they feel a little more comfortable spending $500 knowing they'll get quality. We're trying to deliver teachable value here. So know that they're getting teachable value for the price they're paying. So the value is going to be way higher than the price they're paying, and that's the goal. It's very hard to do that to someone who doesn't know you, right? So um,
So are you
creating an email.
running ads to get like your lead magnets out and stuff
We
or
just started. So
okay.
before this, even with the ads, so we've created a free rig, which is a character that you can move around in Blender. And we obviously it's for email, so they put in the email, they get the rig for free. The rig comes with like a little PDF handbook, and now we've actually released a 1 hour animation lecture we have with that rig. So when you get that rig, you get to actually make your first animation in Blender from one of our lessons for free, and that gets us emails. So I made I have my YouTube channel, which is not that large, but for the niche, it's okay. So we get emails through there, we get emails through social media, and we recently started running ads as well, purely for that rig. We get people to sign up for that rig, so that the conversion is just the email they give us. It's not a sale. And hopefully the email sequence will just then kick in and eventually lead to a sale.
What is your channel at, by the way? Because did you make that whole Kickstarter basically
Yeah,
just from the having the YouTube channel?
yeah. I think at the point where we launched the Kickstarter, I had I want to say 20,000 subscribers. So we cleared six figures Canadian, six figures Canadian with the Kickstarter with a 20,000 subscriber YouTube channel. So it's a very small YouTube channel for the number of sales. So it's possible, if you're out there listening and you have less than 100K, you're like, no, I need to get 100K, 200K, 300K subscribers to actually start a business. You don't. It's just we built hype, we built an email list before the launch of the Kickstarter, make sure there's interest, and that's all you need. You just need to build hype and build an email list and get people interested. And yeah, that's essentially it's just a YouTube channel, and the channel is it's just my name, Brian Kouhi. I've rebranded from 3D Animation Hub because it was just getting confusing. So just Brian Kouhi, and it's just free animation lessons, Blender lessons on there that we post a couple times a month.
Well, I know you say you're not like an expert marketer or anything, but the system of starting with content that helps people, testing an idea with a funding campaign, and then nurturing them with additional education content is a very good marketing plan. So I think
Yeah,
you're doing a darn good job of
thank
figuring
you.
it out. It sounds like you've hinted at a bit, but looking to the next year or two, what are your goals, like personally, and how your life will look? And then also, what does the business have to look like to support that?
Hmm. Yeah, so it's tough. Just recently married, so
Congratulations.
it's thank you, thank you. So it's now we're looking for our first home, and so on the personal side, a lot of expenses coming our way. I'll say that. A lot of expenses are coming our way, and so the business side would have to reflect that because it currently doesn't. But we've only just restarted started marketing and are hoping to kind of grow from here. Uh, so business side, what we have planned is I did kind of point to it is a marketplace is something we really want to start up. Um, where because we get a lot of comments on that's this is gonna lead into two ways. So we get a lot of comments on our rigs, our characters that we give to our students when they buy the course. Um, Everybody seems to really like them, and we know they're good. Like we do know they're good. They're just based off because even the production we were doing in Blender, the rigs we have now are worlds better than what we were using in that the biggest production in Blender. So we know the rigs are good. The person making them is our partner, and he's an animator. He's an amazing animator, so he knows what an animator needs. Um, and so we've been getting a lot of comments about whether if people can buy them. They've been asking if they can buy the rigs themselves, not purchasing the course, which has led to the idea of the marketplace. So we know they're going to be popular, hopefully, knock on wood, once we do launch the marketplace. And we've also been getting questions about making those rigs. People want to make rigs like that. They've been asking us, how can you do that? And so we've started work on a rigging course as well, which is an entire another branch of the animation industry. So there's like this 5, 6, 10 different branches that you can go when you get into animation. And that's another one of them. So we are going to be working on a character creation and a rigging course in this year. So hopefully that can kind of be on par with the animation course in terms of sales, and that'll really help us out for sure.
For anyone, especially in your space, but just in general, over the last like 3 years that you've learned, do you have one nugget of wisdom you would put above anything else for getting to the point you are, which I consider quite successful given where you are?
Like Nike says, just do it. Just do it. You just start because most people, the idea is daunting
Yeah.
and they just won't start. But I if I go back to let's say I don't know how long it's been, 7 years when I started, 6 years when I started my YouTube channel. I was a junior animator. Obviously, I had a lot of I don't want to say guilt, but like I felt silly making videos on animation when there were so many people that were way more experienced than me. But really, you're just even if you're one level above someone else, then you can give them really valuable information. So I was just making content for someone one level below me or two levels below where I am, and I just started. Now, if I go back and look at my videos from when I first started making them, I hate them. They're terrible, horrible videos. I would never watch them myself now, but over time, 100 plus videos later, my content's way better now. Obviously, 100 from now, I'm gonna look back and I hate these, but my content's a lot better now, and that's how it works through trial and error. But actually doing it, you get better, and opportunities open up just over time, gradually, right? But you have to start, otherwise you'll just be where you are now 10 years from now if you don't actually start anything.
Yeah,
So
with no
that's
paper trail either, right? That's
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate your story and your candid and honest responses. Very exciting to talk to someone in your space. Like I mentioned too, especially I think in industries like film and music and stuff, they're so established in the way things are done that it's
Yeah.
always fun to talk to people who are pushing those limits and finding ways around it and dealing with the hard part of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and how to manage that.
Yep. Yeah.
But I love the goal you've centered for yourself, and thank you for taking the time. For everyone watching, hop in the comments. Let us know what parts of Brian's story you've resonated with, if you've seen their channel, if you've taken any of the courses, or if not, we'll make sure to have the links for them below as well. Brian, thank you so much for your time. We hope to talk to you soon.
Of course. Thank you.